Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so.
Welcome to Trash Pile, a dumpster diving adventure through streaming piles of trash. You are going to hate this one. If you're watching this, you might already know about the Christian movie series God's Not Dead, a quintet of films based on memes where Christians slam dunk the proof that God is real into the faces of cartoonish atheists. Well, friends and folks, I'm going to make a bold accusation. God's Not Dead stole their ideas from today's movie, 2011's The Freedom of Silence. God's Not Dead has a simple premise. America hates God, but a few plucky rebels find a way to defeat woke college professors, local governments, and even the Supreme Court, who are all then forced to admit that God is alive. The Freedom of Silence takes place in a similar world, where the majority of America hates Christians for no stated reason, leading to... let's get into it with clips from the opening montage.
Despite scattered protests on Capitol Hill from grassroots organizations, Congress swiftly passed the Religious Tolerance Act, which the president signed an hour later. Critics say that instead of promoting religious tolerance, the bill will result in rampant discrimination against conservative Christian and Jewish groups.
I want you to imagine a world where Congress can get together to agree on one thing, and that one thing is the destruction of the Christian church. Also Judaism, but Judaism is never mentioned again throughout this movie, so whatever. Just imagine that. It's not going to happen.
The National Interfaith Ecumenical Council marked the 10th anniversary of the establishment of the National Church of America. Chairman Erhard Meyer hailed the anniversary as a milestone in interfaith relations and literature.
We never learn what the National Church of America actually is or what they believe, so who are they talking about in the National Church of America? I don't know. I wish they would tell us.
They won't tell me where the children are. All they'll tell me is that they're in protected custody.
No clue what this is. They don't talk about it again. There's no mention anywhere in this movie about children being taken. This is just a plot point for this newscast, I guess.
In a daring raid last night, police captured the individual thought to be responsible for the brazen terrorist attack that affected millions earlier in the evening.
So that's a scene setting, so now let's get into some kind of Special Forces Bible Hunter unit sweeping through a house. I know this doesn't really look like what I just described it as because the screen is so dark. This is going to be a running theme, so get used to it. We're introduced to our main characters in such a way that I almost didn't recognize them as seen later. They didn't even tell us the main character's name until 13 minutes into the movie. The guy getting arrested here is Zach. And the guy staring him down is Captain something. That's his rank, and unless I missed it, his name is never spoken. Unless his first name is Captain, his first name might be Captain. Everyone just calls him Sir or Captain. Maybe his name is Captain. Please tell me what the director thought they were trying to do here film-wise by tilting the shots this way. What does that mean? We're about to get into one of the big parts that makes this movie so hard to watch.
We knew you were up to something, we just didn't know what.
Now, way later in the movie, we're going to find out what the scheme was. And also, you're going to be amazed about what he was able to do with household electronics that were pulled out of old remote controls. But right now, we have no idea. I don't know why he's arrested. They're not going to say it. They're going to do everything they can throughout the movie to talk about the scheme, the plot, the plan, the project, but never actually tell us what it is that they're going to do. It's completely ludicrous. Speaking of ludicrous, this movie takes place in the year 2030. I don't know why they chose a date 20 years in the future. This was from 2011, so 2030. They're not going to be able to make it look like 2030, right? You know, when you make movies that are set in different times, you're supposed to show visually that things are different, like older cars, or maybe a weird future-looking car, like a DeLorean or something. Technology differences, home stylings, whatever. They both never say that it's 2030. You only get that from the back of the box. They also never make it seem like 2030. So just a total failure. Anyways, watch this idiot start singing Amazing Grace and getting punched for it.
The Lord has promised good to...
Okay, now I'm about to make all the time stuff I was talking about even weirder. This is a flashback. They didn't tell us it was a flashback. There's no indication. It just suddenly smash cut, and now we are in what I learned much later in the movie was actually a flashback. We are seeing Zach's past. It's all very confusing storytelling. There's also a teenage Zach who we're going to get to later. Here in the past, Zach is about to meet up with a street preacher.
You don't have to take my word for it. It's all right here in black and white. That's fine for you, but why are you trying to force your morality in on me?
In order to reinforce the victimhood complex that modern Christianity has, the street preacher is arrested. His Bible is thrown to the ground, and Zach picks it up, but his dad catches him with that illicit material and tosses it away.
But what was he doing? He was just talking, and you always say that everyone has a right to say what they want.
Not his kind, son. All they want to do is stir things up, make people hate each other.
The filmmakers break a cardinal rule of flashbacks by showing time passing. It's now later on in the day, and Zach is about to go and sneak off to find the Bible. Look at him standing up in the dark and wandering around his room, and then watch as he disappears out of the camera's view, but the camera keeps lingering on the scene. He goes off and finds the Bible and then brings it back so that he can read it in bed with a flashlight. I guess this is the religious version of hiding a dirty magazine under your bed so your parents won't find it. After that, we return to the present day and we see Zach being tortured for a little bit more. They lightly threaten Zach's parents, and the captain says that he probably learned everything about how to be religious from them.
He taught me to fight for what I believe in.
This is delusionally and demonstrably false. We just saw his parents get mad at the street preacher for preaching and get mad at Zach for asking about the preaching.
And you always say that everyone has a right to say what they want.
Not his kind, son.
They refuse to let Zach form his own opinions on anything. That's not standing up for what you believe in. In what's becoming the only good part of the movie, we see Zach get punched again, except this time the screen goes to white and then returns on a face, a younger face. Oh, this is Zach as a teen. So good job, you did a flashback transition. Any goodwill is then immediately deleted with this scene, which I present to you completely unedited.
Your mother found this in your room when she was cleaning.
Mom?
You're just going to leave in all that blank space? You're just going to keep the shot where the Bible bounces out of the frame? Okay. They yell at him and then disown him for having the Bible, which is definitely teaching him to stand up for his own beliefs. This is all so poorly made. I'm not editing this, I promise. Just look.
Mom, if you'd only listen.
After some more torture, which I'm not going to show because it's getting boring at this point, we get into a completely bonkers montage. So let's just break this down. Zach gets married to this lady who is not named. It's not important. She's a Christian wife. She's not really germane to the story. That felt really mean to say, but that's actually just how it is. I don't believe that. That's just kind of their thing. And then he goes hunting, I guess. He's in the woods with a fire. Cool. And then he's at the grocery store, and the wife is pregnant. Yay. He's got facial hair now? But then he's back at the store? He doesn't have facial hair in the store. Hold on. Okay, there's no facial hair here. So, cool. He has a baby, and the wife is fine, I guess. We've got the birth of a child. And then we see this dark scene of somebody running with some fireworks. And then a gravestone? So someone died. I don't know who. What the movie doesn't tell you, but what I know is, that was a different guy. That wasn't Zach. The one in the camouflage, that was supposed to be a soldier. It's his best friend, who we're going to meet later on in the movie. I guess just, all white guys look the same in the dark. No, chat! No, don't clip that! Don't clip! Shit!
Evolution, chemistry, astronomy, biology.
If you make up your mind on a subject before you begin, you can find evidence to any conclusion.
Man, that's a lesson that I really wish the conservatives could get into their own heads about themselves.
Science has proven there's no God.
Let me tell you one thing an atheist is never going to say. Science has proven that there is no God. That's just not a thing that's going to happen. Oh, remember the guy from the montage? This is him, the one that was in the fireworks explosion. He was at war, actually. Apparently, he was supposed to be a soldier fighting in a war. But now he's back and he works for the government.
Cyber intel sounds impressive. What do you do?
I'll tell you what he does. He brings a new level of romance to this film. Just watch this.
Gotcha. It's too easy, man.
Some things never change.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't have it any other way, so...
It's about now that this young religious fanatic recruits a military intelligence officer into his terrorism plot.
Can it be done?
Technically anything can be done, but do you have any idea how long this is going to take? How much money and time you're going to spend on it?
Back in the torture chamber, Zack proves that he's a master of 5D chess by outthinking the entire government. The captain brags that he's going to bring in Zack's entire family for questioning, including his daughters. The captain brags that he was able to find out Zack's wife's name and the names of his children, and using that information, found out that they have just boarded a flight, and that they're going to be arrested as soon as they land. But oh no, Zack thought of that.
My daughters' names are not Josie and Jennifer. Those are the names that we put on their birth certificates to protect them. But those aren't their real names. And if you'll check the actual flight manifest, you'll see that they never actually occupied those seats.
So they want us to believe that Zack bought plane tickets under the kids' government names, which are actually their fake names. Then they didn't board the flight, so when that plane lands, they won't be on it. But then Zack tells us that they're on a different plane heading to China, presumably under their real non-government names. So they were able to trick a government surveillance state that has been watching them for years, the TSA, and China's own border security in the year 2030 with a fake name gag? Really? They did all that? They must be geniuses. So let's take a look at them as they work on their terrorism project.
So both these just go in here like this?
Yeah, just snap them in there like I showed you. Don't force them. You shouldn't have to force them. Just snap them in. Hey, I got us a lead on a storage unit. Figure we just rent it out under a different name, obviously.
Obviously.
Oh man, I need a palate cleanser. Let's get back to some torture. I love the captain.
Give it to him! Now!
The captain is also completely in awe that these guys were able to pull this off.
Tell me, how does someone like him ever make it into naval intelligence undetected?
Don't ask, don't tell.
While Zack is growing his terrorist organization and recruiting more followers, his best friend Aaron is growing his muscles at the gym when he sees a lady in need of some help.
I thought I could do 20, but it was a little heavy.
20 with that?
I usually do 15. You got a problem with 20?
Problem? No, I don't have a problem.
What, you don't think a woman can pull her own weight or lift it, right, Ace?
And that's just the screenwriter's fault. I mean, strong women are great, and there's no reason why a woman can't lift 20 pounds. It's 20 pounds, it's fine. Just don't show the woman being weak, and then yelling at somebody for thinking that women are weak. That doesn't work. Boy, are you getting tired of the flashback present-day format? Because I really am. It's getting hard to follow. Let's just torture Zack some more. That always makes me feel better.
Then let me give you something else to consider. Get the barrel!
Back in the past, Aaron and Trisha are getting along and having lots of dates and having lots of cute fun together. It's not actually cute, but you know what I mean. And Aaron's work starts to slip up a little bit. Zack is angry about this and decides to confront him, and Zack confronts Aaron on this and says basically, it's either the girl or our terrorism project.
So that's the way it's gonna be? You get to be happily married and I just have to be the single sidekick for this plan of yours?
That's not what I mean.
That is literally what you mean, but okay. This conversation was a little bit too stale, so the director decided that everybody should stand up and go to another part of the room.
Aaron. I'm responsible for everybody that was here tonight.
The director gets bored there, so we move over to the door.
All I'm asking is that you spend a little more time focusing on your work and a little less time daydreaming about some random girl.
Told you before, she's not a random girl.
Okay, back to the present. We don't even have waterboarding. Can I ask, why didn't we waterboard? Why are we putting the guy's head in a barrel? That's dumb. Waterboard him at least. Come on. I'm a little bored of the torture, but you gotta hear the way this guy yells.
Don't your fairy tales tell you bandits are son? You bandits everyone's son! That's not a god I would want to die for!
Zach is held underwater too long and almost drowns. Yay!
He's not breathing!
Then do something about it!
Back in the flashback, the women folk get the men folk together so that they can say sorry and make up. Zach and Aaron wear matching outfits to the park where they patch things up. It's boring, I'm not going to go into detail. Except to say that they get back from their walk, clearly walking out of the woods as you can see, and they're holding ice cream for the whole families. Ice cream. Where did they get the ice cream from? Did they just get ice cream from the woods? Can you get ice cream in the woods? Is there a witch in the woods that can give you ice cream if you give her delicious treats? Like maybe you give her 3 buttons and she will give you a vanilla and 4 buttons for a chocolate? Where can I find this ice cream witch? Okay, let's do a little speed run. Turns out Trisha was working for the government. Aaron admits that he is a Christian, and Trisha breaks up with him. Trisha's daughter sings the most terrifying song you've ever heard.
Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so.
And then Zach and his wife, man, I wish I knew what her name was. Zach and his wife exchange sad Christian kisses, and then, we just get to have a little bit of a break. We're gonna just watch them hug for a minute, and then, boy, we're going through the whole process of getting into the car. We're gonna close the door. Yep, we're gonna turn the car on. I'm glad they showed this entire scene. I'm glad. I needed a break. I'm sure you guys did too. Car's on. We're pulling out of the driveway. Scene is still going. So good that they showed us all that. Riveting filmmaking. Empty driveway. Love it. Great. Yeah, just linger. Yep. Keep going. I didn't edit this, I promise. Finally, we're gonna learn what the terrorism plot is.
3, 2, 1.
Hello. My name is Zach. I am a Christian.
Zach goes on to preach a 10-minute sermon to the entire planet by hacking into anything with a screen. Mind-blowing. How did they pull that off? All you saw was them messing around with circuit boards and renting a storage unit. Where did all this technical knowledge come from? I guess all things are possible through Christ who strengthens badly plotted movies. And also, it ends with this.
I have sent a digital copy of the Bible to every email address in the world.
Beyond stupid to make this a plot point. How could they possibly have done that? There's just no way. So now the flashback is caught up to present day. While Zach is being tortured, Aaron and Trish meet up. Wait, is her name Trish or Trisha? I don't know, it doesn't matter. They meet up in the middle of a torrential rainstorm. Somehow, they're able to hold a conversation with each other and hear each other. I can't. Listen to this. What are they saying here?
I don't think he's given them enough information to find him. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
The two have a long and tearful conversation while she points a gun to her head and threatens to kill herself because she feels bad about betraying Zach. So she's willing to throw her life away and give her daughter away to a stranger because she feels bad about it. Okay, cool. I'm sure whatever they're talking about here is really meaningful, and I'm sure that this is justified, but I just wouldn't be able to tell you because I can't hear it.
I forget.
I've done so much. Hurt so many people.
Yes, but when Jesus paid for our sins, Zach's, yours, mine, everyone's, they were all in the future, Trish.
Yeah, whatever. They make up. Everything is fine.
Where are we going?
I think I might have an idea here we can help Zach. A couple hours away though, so let's get right off and go.
It's here when we finally find out what the captain's problem is with Christianity. It turns out, as always, he used to be a believer, he was a Christian, he believes in God, he just hates God because his wife and kid were killed in a car accident.
I stood by his bedside all night long, praying to your precious God to save my son. Free him from his pain. And all I got from him was silence.
So now he hates God. He believes he's real though, don't worry. Because that's the way it always is in these movies. The bad guy atheist always believes in God but hates God. They don't actually think that God's not real. The freedom of silence gets wrapped up nicely with Aaron hacking back into the systems and broadcasting the captain murdering Zach, basically on live television in front of everybody, which somehow changes the minds of the entire nation and turns everybody Christian.
An emergency session of Congress has been convened to investigate the man's death at the hands of a religious tactical response unit agent.
Yeah, this one white guy gets killed by an overzealous law enforcement officer and it changes the entire planet. That actually makes a lot of sense.
They will also consider measures to repeal many of the hate crime statutes that were enacted a generation ago that were aimed at the Christian church and its message.
See, remember what I said at the beginning? They said that it was about Christians and Jews first, but they forgot about the Jews by the end of the movie.
Legislation that many are now saying is unconstitutional.
Oh, they're saying that now, yes. One white guy gets a consequence for his terrorism, and now all of a sudden it's a constitutional matter. I hate this movie, but you know who I really hate? This guy, the boom operator. Oh my god. Learn how to do any aspect of your job, please. I feel like I could rant about this movie for ages, but I'll spare you because I want to be done with it. This victimhood persecution complex that has wrapped its way around the modern church's brainstem is killing it. Despite the fact that this country is clearly dominated by Christianity in nearly all aspects of daily life, they still feel like they're at risk. They're still waiting for the next horrible crime against their faith that, if we're being frank, doesn't happen that often. So when reality doesn't give them what they want, they create fantasies like this horrible movie, or God's Not Dead, or the 2016 election being stolen from Trump. Hell, Christians got Roe v. Wade repealed, striking a massive blow against people with uteruses nationwide, and I still see people protesting outside my local Planned Parenthood. Guys, you won! The fight's over, go home! I've got to take a break from the propaganda films. Next time, I'm watching something really stupid that won't make me think of politics. Join me then, won't you? If you know of a bad movie for me to watch, drop a comment. Like, subscribe, and stop watching Logan Paul. Okay, bye.